Thank you, SolarCity, for the entertaining engineering meetup and networking event. Good hors d'oeuvres, good conversation. I spoke with Eric, one of your employees there. I didn't get his last name or his business card. Um, Maybe I didn't impress him. He said something about leaving my name or getting his name, but it was closing and I didn't quite follow up or know how to. Um, I don't know. Shameless name dropping. So what I'm going to do for you today is give you a new user um, experience review. So you have new users. They visit your website. As it happens, I did not visit your website um, to check if much about it before going to the Mixer event. Um, I should have, due diligence, show my interest. But you impressed me when I was there, so now I'm looking, and I'm recording my new user experience. So this is your site. This is what I think of you. SolarCity.com. Why does it say Solar Solution? Why does it not say SolarCity up here in the address bar? It says Solar Solutions. I thought I was in the wrong place for a while. User experience question. Why should it say Solar Solutions instead of SolarCity? Kind of like Solar Solutions better. SolarCity sounds like, I don't know, maybe a location? And you're not selling a location. Alright, so what do we have here? 4 homes, business and government, login. Looks pretty basic. Some good design. Oh, look, fancy graphics. Savings, charts. I love charts. Is that a little fuzzy? Year 1, year 10? Year 20? Probably not. No, it's a graphic. Maybe it is a little fuzzy. Yeah, it looks blurry, the word year 1, year 10, year 20, compared to it easy and affordable. And compared to down here, the text is a little smaller, maybe closer to this. Utility built with solar, still is legible, not a great big deal. Solar savings beyond solar. Energy efficiency, kind of a vague button name, but let's see where it goes. SolarCity, Energy Explorer. Oh, look, something opened up down here with nice, cool graphics. Hey, that is pretty. And infographics excite me. As a user experience designer, I love infographics. So I'm liking this. Hot tub, demand, heating, water heater, pipe loss, cooling, blower appliance. Average yearly total of 3,631. That's for what? Solar energy? Not sure how it says anything about efficiency. With the click solar performance. Oh! Perform calculations to rank improvements and order upgrades. Every customer can access their personalized website for a self-guided tour and their evaluation results. Click on the bubbles below to explore how an average SolarCity household consumes energy. Is it really a personal website? It sounds like more of a personal calculator. A personal website would be damn awesome. I immediately started thinking of like Nest and what are those others? Home appliance control systems. I guess maybe they're somebody you work with or compete with. News, SolarCity and Groupon offer first of its kind deal on solar power. SolarCity to provide clean energy for HP's corporate headquarters. SolarCity teams with Carrier to offer affordable solar-powered air conditioning. SolarCity launches first of its kind solar service in Nevada. SolarCity enters into largest rooftop solar aggregation facility. Now, that's all very interesting. Let's try one at random. This is kind of weird, this cutout here. Photo gallery, video. The thing that's weird about it, especially with these buttons are more close to the cutout. They look like they're attached. So this screen button, visually, appears attached to the word media center. This one appears attached to the word press events, not the word video, not the word photo gallery. We call that proximity. Yes, it's one of the fundamental design considerations we studied at the Academy of Art University. Um, Things that are close to other things matter. So I would say put these green buttons to the left of photo gallery, to the left of video maybe. Um, Maybe it looks better when I expand it. Oh, no, it opened something to the right. I thought it would toggle down, that it would open up like the news. So if I clicked on video, it would toggle. But those buttons actually mean change the page on the right. Whereas news, oh, this does the same thing. Okay, so this really is a left side navigation panel for the right side only. All this left side does is change the right side. Well, that's good. Maybe just, I don't know, maybe we need some like lines here in between to make it a little more clear that these are, that the left side here is connected to the right, because I thought this would maybe take me something completely different. I thought it was a sidebar with links that may even go to some other site. It says news. Anyways, media center. So look, we've got a nice breadcrumb there. Home company, SolarCity news, press release, SolarCity press release. Okay, and I can click here, or here, or here. It would be nice if when I hovered over here, there were a visual change. When I hover over press release, it should get a gray underline maybe, or better yet, turn to blue, because gray is a color that means do not click. It means disabled. So the breadcrumb being gray is kind of questionable. I understand you want to diminish it visually so it doesn't attract attention. People know where it is. They don't need to be annoyed by it jumping out. Maybe a light blue would communicate that it's clickable. This one isn't clickable. There's no way to tell the difference between SolarCity press release and press releases. That I can tell it's clickable if I mouse over it. Okay, that's clickable. Okay, that's not. So why are you making your user guess what's clickable and what's not? I mean, do you really want them spending their time mousing over this? No, not a button. Oh, this is a button. Not a button. Is this a button? No. How about this? Yeah, that's a button. Is this a button? Yeah. Is this a button? Yeah. How about this? Nope. 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 Yep. Okay. This one's good because it's styled. In general, make every link underlined. That's just good usability. This isn't bad. At least there's a visual change. Although, as a rule, the mouse over should not turn the button gray or even black. That's kind of a gray-black. It's not solid black. I can tell just by looking that it's like some 80% gray. What this says right now is it says press@solarcity.com is not clickable, just visually. That's what it communicates. When I mouse over it, it says it is clickable, which is kind of good. It would be better if when I moused over it, it said, yes, I'm definitely clickable. So like, make it turn blue and underline it. What else can we see? And so same thing with the breadcrumbs, right? Make it turn blue and underline when you mouse over it. In fact, make it clickable. If it's since it's clickable, make it a faded blue or a faded green if you're going with green for your color. Let's see, what else do we have going on here? About Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Yeah, I don't like Bank of America. Oh, that's good though. It's got immediate contact. SolarCity. It's interesting. You change your phone number from here. It's using the dashes. Up here, it's using the dots. It's always a bad idea to change your formatting of numbers, and here's why. The goal of the number format is to generally be not something you have to think about. It should distract as little as possible. Changing it virtually from one place to another virtually guarantees that somebody's going to see a phone number that they think, oh, that's not what I expected. It won't take them long to get over that. They see it all different kinds of ways. So I mean, we're talking like a tenth of a second. It's like the difference between seeing a slightly different arrangement at your grocery store, right? You know, oh, they moved the mustard. No big deal. You just walk along with the mustard. But why bother? Why not keep the mustard in the same place at the grocery store and make everyone happy so they don't have to look around and we'll find things? Same thing with this. Um, Pick one numbering style. That's basic graphic design. Stay consistent, right? You can do it one way or you can do it the other way, but don't do it both ways inconsistently at random. What is this? This is an M dash. There are N dashes, there are M dashes, and there are just dashes. The shortest one's a dash. The next longest one is an N dash. That's like sort of halfway between a dash and an M dash, which is this. An M dash is about 2 dashes worth. It's longer. It takes up more horizontal space. Why do highlighting things turn them green? As if I can click on them now? Overbranded. Okay, come on, you're a solar company. You don't need to greenwash literally in your UI. I guess visually it's not a problem. It's just whatever you're trying to communicate by using green is probably not being communicated the way you want. Likewise, what's with these buttons here? See these buttons? They're Web 2.0. They've got a little glow on them. See, it's like a reflection. These buttons do not have that reflection. They're what's called flat. You don't want to mix the buttons again. It's just confusing. It's like having a car that's half Yugo and half Porsche or something like that, right? You know, the point is make things not attract attention. Make them invisible. Anyways, new user review from user experience designer. So I'm doing this, by the way, as part of a job application. I would like a job doing user experience design for you. I understand a lot of your user experience design is actually for things like controlling your solar panel system, right? You know, it feeds into a website or something. There's like either a Wi-Fi element to the control system or some other way of getting the performance of your solar system on your computer. And that's where user experience designer comes in for me. I'm actually pretty good at user experience design in general in terms of, you know, I could talk about better building systems or better mounting systems for your solar panels, although I'm sure you've got people who like mount them. First rule of usability is go to the people closest to the problem. So yeah, don't ask me how to mount your solar cells better, even though I might have a good opinion, because you should be asking the people who actually day in, day out mount your solar cells. That's how it is with user experience design and usability. You should always go to the end user as a source and not ask them, but watch them what they are doing. Because people don't report accurately, especially on user experience design concerns. But in any event, I would love to build user experience design into your products, which I'm very talented at. I did that, one of my first jobs at Reliance Steel and Aluminum. I was programming their two-dimensional CNC computer numeric controlled steel cutting equipment. This was back in the old days, before Windows even. And you know, the computers were just barely smart enough to program a shape in AutoCAD or a specialized program and convert it into CNC code that the machines would use to cut, say, a door or a flat panel for a piece of building or a hanging bracket out of a piece of metal. So I programmed those for a couple of years. I instituted Deming's Total Quality Management program at Reliance Steel and Aluminum, one of my first jobs. That was fun. Sort of an open book project. TQM, Total Quality Management, especially Deming's philosophy on it, is pretty interesting. in that it's a very flexible quality control program that extends beyond just product manufacturing to really get at management failures. And by management failures, I mean user experience design failures, failures where the user needs were not taken into account. You can look at why that didn't happen, monetize it, and assess ROI and track things like that using the Deming's TQM philosophy. I'm really excited about it. I'd love a chance to get to use that to evaluate the return on investment for our user experience design efforts. Okay, look, I'm talking our like you've already hired me. You're SolarCity.com. You're a big company. I like that. I hope you do hire me or want to hire me. But I understand I've got some things to prove to you first. So, oh look, we're hiring. We're changing the world. I like that. It's positive. You got the green thing going pretty heavy. You know, you can actually tone down the greenwashing, but hey, that's a branding decision and marketing. I try to stay out of that. I'm user experience design, not setting global branding initiative and tone for your whole company. I can follow the direction if y'all want designs with lots of green, that's fine. I can still make good user experience design with green all over the place. We reinvented energy. That's a big statement. To tackle one of the world's biggest problems head on, climate change. We need trailblazers to lead the clean energy revolution. Make a difference, join SolarCity. Well, I am a trailblazer. I can tell you things about user experience that you've probably never considered. That's probably not too hard. Most people don't consider user experience design very much, and certainly not in the detail that I do. Oh, look, a video. Will this record on QuickTime? I can make videos too.
It's not just oil and natural gas production that's booming.
It takes time. I'm not that fast. I haven't done it since college at the Academy of Art
Every
University.
4 minutes, another American home or business goes solar. Every panel pounded into place by a worker whose job cannot be outsourced.
This is Barack Obama's voice. I recognized it. Oh, love the drone footage, the flying drone footage. Nice face. I like it. He's smiling. Elon Musk. He's like a famous guy, right? Doesn't he do the rocket thing?
Needed to be addressed: sustainable transport, space exploration, and sustainable power. And what SolarCity is really about is achieving a long-term sustainable solution for energy, which is the critical problem of the 21st century.
Solar is finally ready to become a mainstream power source for all of the people in the world.
There's a massive need when it comes to solar delivery, and that's why we decided to start SolarCity.
Hi, my name is Hayes Barnard, and I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of SolarCity. At SolarCity, we're passionate about creating the best company on the planet to work for. Now, in order to do that, you gotta hire the best people. We've connected our hearts around a common why, around the cause that drives us every single day. We want to hire people that are committed to transforming the way this planet is powered. Again, I want to thank you for your interest in SolarCity. It's an amazing company and an opportune time to transform the world. Have a great day.
So that was actually pretty good. We have testimonials by people I know, famous people. You said the right things about you know, employee empowerment, and you didn't use those words exactly, but you said it's about the people you hire. This is all very good and promising in a job I want to work for. Whether it actually translates, I mean, lots of companies say that on their employee careers page. Whether that actually translates and gets carried over into actual practices, hard to say. But it's a good sign. I mean, lip service is better than no service, and some companies say no service. Some companies are like, oh yeah, we're responsible to the stockholder, but you're not talking about that, at least not here, and not elsewhere on the site. As opposed to financial companies, which generally do talk about that. Anyways, I guess I should give them a break. Inside sales, field sales, commercial sites inspire the biggest companies in the country to ditch fossil fuels, set an example, and switch to clean energy on a massive scale. Actually, I've done a lot of presentations for architectural firms. When I was working at Trudeau Architects and TrueArcs Online, I was their web designer because web was just starting out, and I was also their print designer, and I did all their branding for their company, logos, graphics, whatever they needed. I was the head graphic designer. There was another person who worked underneath me, I guess, but she was mostly just graphic designer for the print side. In any event, um, point is, I've done proposals for architectural firms to do things like retrofit a building with solar energy collectors. Um, I don't. I think there might have been one proposal I did for that included solar energy. Mostly, this was back in the 1990s, when early 2000, when there was less solar going on and certainly less web people talking about solar online. Oh, systems design, visionaries only. That's me. Um, you skipped crayons and went straight to CAD. Hey, actually, that's true. I have trouble sketching, and I took CAD in. Well, I took drafting in high school. Where did I pick up CAD? Well, obviously at the Still Company, since I programmed their CAD systems to um, output the stuff, and actually I did a lot of work with their CAD system. So yeah, I went straight to CAD, and you need to turn average homes into clean energy power homes. Yeah, and I have some great ideas on how to do that. Um, Take for instance a lock. You know, a great idea for a lock. This isn't really a SolarCity thing, but why do we not have a Wi-Fi enabled or even a Bluetooth enabled lock? Here's what I imagine, right? You go and you push a button on the padlock. Uh, the padlock has to have a battery obviously, in order to receive signals from your phone. But you push the button, and it sends out just a short little message to your phone that says, anything to say to me, just ping it. And the phone or computer or anything in the area has 30 seconds to ping back with unlock and whatever long digit passcode you want to give it. And if it doesn't get a ping back saying unlock in 30 seconds, then it powers off again and you have to push the button again and try again. That's to save energy because you don't want that thing on all the time. But with that system, with the power off, unless you push a button manually, and then only 30 seconds on at a time, the battery is going to last like 5 years. So that's pretty good. You know, changing the batteries and the power issue is always a problem. But maybe like give it a little hole you can plug in an external power source or something, just in case it freezes and locks up, or an external data entry just in case your Wi-Fi or your Bluetooth fails. It seems like that might even be unnecessary, but you could add it for people who are paranoid. Anyways, that's a system design issue. So maybe you want a lock like that, right, on your solar installations, or maybe not. Maybe you sell it as a separate product. I imagined a padlock as a separate product somewhere. Anyways, site survey started up. Set the stage for crucial measurements. Data need to start every home installation. I've kind of done that sort of stuff. When I was working at the Still Company, they would send me out into the field to measure some plow blade or some agricultural piece of equipment or even some mining equipment, and I'd get out there with a ruler and tape measure and start measuring things, and then I'd sketch it all, and then I'd take it back to my office at the factory, and I'd program it into CAD, and I'd cut them a new one because the old one was broke. Actually, I wouldn't cut them. I would just program it, convert the CAD drawing to CNC, and then I'd give it to Mike, the warehouse foreman, and he would schedule the job, and then the burners would cut it, and the burners would come to me if they had any questions, and I did the TQM for them. Anyways, installation. Join an intense crew that only knows speed all out. You're safe, you're proud, you're making a difference. Well, okay, good. Probably not for me. I'm a little old. I would like to get out and get more exercise, but system design, that's where I'm thinking now. Software engineering, create the systems of change. You solve insane software problems for fun. That's me. Work with other prodigies to help save the world. Visit our software job site for more. Find your fit, learn more. Well, yeah, I mean, the kind of problems that interest me are like fairly complex, and that's one thing I like about SolarCity being a big company. You know, I got this offer, sort of invitation to apply for a job at Walmart from a recruiter, and they said, "Yeah, I work for the biggest, baddest corporation in America." And I'm like, "Well, big offers opportunities to really focus in and do some great work and solve some fun problems instead of the simple ones that I see every day. But I don't want to work for the baddest company. I don't want to work for Walmart. Uh, I want to work for SolarCity. That's somebody who's making the world a better place, and that's part of what motivates people in the end. Customer care. Your solar light shines bright. Oh, that's a little bit of poetry there. Not bad. I'll let it go. You listen attentively, respond kindly, and know your stuff. Your customer service rock star in Las Vegas office who thrives on helping others. Here's an interesting thing. As a user experience designer, that's somebody who does software engineering and system design. Um, as a user experience designer, I have found that customer care often has their finger on the pulse of the user experience. They're the ones who know what causes pain for the user. They hear it all the time. They get the call that says, "How do I do this?" Or that says, "I tried this and it didn't work." And they're the ones who have to say, "Oh, no, no. When we meant that other button, that one over there." Well, those are user experience failures that customer care is solving. Good user experience should reduce your customer care budget. And good user experience should draw on your customer care specialist insights in order to improve the user experience and reduce the customer care budget. See, it's like you can almost kind of, in some ways, define user experience design as helping customer service, right? I mean, you could seriously like put user experience design under customer care in your organizational chart, because if you define user experience design as making customer service job easier by preventing problems through better user experience design, well, then that's really probably a good definition for user experience design. It's one I like to use, and it's one I promote. I was mentioning to Eric at the back at the SolarCity Engineering Meetup and Networking event. I was mentioning to Eric there that what was I mentioning to him? I lost my track when I was trying to surf up to check the SolarCity meeting. Well, too bad. See, this is what happens when you have just simple things like finding something on a web page, right? You go here, you try and look up the full name SolarCity Engineering Meetup and Networking Event, and while I'm looking that up, a great idea left me. You don't want users to do that happening to users. Maybe that great idea is I should buy a solar panel, and they get distracted by finding something else. Why SolarCity? Benefits. So we're doing the green thing. Here's a problem. You're inconsistent in your links. We've got orange here. SolarCity is green, but it's not clickable. Now I expect green to mean click me, right? You do that elsewhere, not here anymore. You did that on one of the first pages I looked at. You had a green link, and now green is not a link. Green is a title color, and links are orange. I can tell it's a link because we've got the pointer finger. It's underlined, which probably means it's a link. Some places underline text, even if it's not linked, which just bothers me. As a user experience designer, I have these pet peeves, like people underlining text on a web page and that text not being clickable. Luckily, yours is. All right, well, let's see. I think system design, they're talking hardware primarily. Let's go with software engineering, see if I can find my user experience job. SQL Server DBA, no, I'm not that good at that. Analytics engineer, maybe, depends on if they mean analytics. Is this part of GE's Internet of Things? I noticed they're located in San Mateo. GE is in their new tech center, I think, is in San Mateo, isn't it? Analytics engineer, software engineering, senior software engineer, solar performance, senior web developer, analytics. I'm not an analytics specialist. I've done analytics when people are using analytics and we need an answer. I'll say something like at Party City. We wanted to know if like one of their analytics was working correctly, and I did some I said, well, check the graph from here to here. We installed it on this date, turned it on here. Did we see a change? Okay, so you think there's a bug that was caused when maybe we built the system in January, and let's see if the graph changed. We'll notice it in the page view graph if it's double counting as you worried, and we looked and it wasn't double counting. And so that's kind of my level of analytics. I don't get to work in it a lot. I think I'm good at it, but maybe everybody does. But and I'm not really a web developer either. So I know about analytics. I know how to use them. And web developer, I know about that too. But I'm a user experience designer. I kind of tie a lot of things together. Less of a specialist, more of a generalist. Web developer, maybe. JavaScript engineer. I see all these jobs for JavaScript engineers, and it's like, I'm not a code monkey. I don't mind being a code monkey, actually. I'm pretty good at it. I used to be a JavaScript engineer back before they had jQuery and all that. And now all that stuff I knew about, manually working with DOM in some early version of Internet Explorer, like Internet Explorer 5 or something, or 3. Anyways, I did all that stuff and I was pretty good at it, and now it's all worthless because technology changes and we can have jQuery do that in half the time. And that's great, and I'm all for it, but I'm not a specialist in JavaScript. I know JavaScript. I'd be like an entry-level JavaScript engineer, or a mid-level. I'm like an entry or mid-level web developer. I'm like an entry or mid-level senior web developer analytics. I'm an entry-level SQL Server DBA for sure. Training level maybe even. I mean, I can write SQL and change an SQL, and I can spot faults in a database design. I can say, oh yeah, this needs to be a one-to-many relationship, not a one-to-one relationship, whatever. But there's actually a lot of complex stuff going on in server database administration. Analytics engineer, I got some great ideas, but not much practical experience in that area. I did take statistics for the sciences, kicked ass in that in college. It's kind of trivial, really. As an engineering major, probability theory was so much harder than statistics for the science. And analytics engineering doesn't really require that much understanding of math. So I've got the background for analytics engineering. I just don't have the practical experience with like specific software and specific techniques and methodologies. Good to know. Software engineer, embedded systems. Yeah, I've kind of worked with that a little bit, but again, not at a specialist, dedicated level. It's just sort of stuff that, like, for the steel company again, I wrote some custom code and modified their CNC code a little bit to, I manually injected some codes to allow new machinery equipment to work. Senior software engineer, solar performance analytics. Yeah, I could kind of do that. I'm not, again, primarily a software engineer. I don't know C# like the back of my hand. I know C# enough to look at somebody else's C# code and say, yeah, we need this other column here, and only in the case of these situations. And I can, take their code for the page as it is and add that, add a column to the table in C#. Or correct a filter function in C#. I might be able to do something like that. That's pretty much how much back-end programming I like doing. Senior web developer analytics. Um, so yeah, I'm entry-level web developer. Web developers are supposed to know C# like the back of their hand, and a couple other languages. Web developer, maybe, who knows what web developer means. Sometimes that means user experience designer, sometimes that means designer, sometimes that just means somebody codes HTML. I don't know. I can do emails and stuff like that you need for, like emails and other sorts of obscure HTML. Still have to use the old school, table layouts and stuff like that because the rendering engine doesn't adapt. If you've got an 8-year-old email client, people don't upgrade their email outlook like they do upgrade their browsers. So email compatibility is tough, and I can do that sort of thing. As a web developer, I could tackle similar things. You might actually have some need for that if you've got like old embedded systems going on. JavaScript engineer, again, not a specialist in Java. Senior software engineer, mobile applications, Androids. I work on mobile applications, and I'm actually designing the mobile application framework for San Francisco Department of Public Works right now. But I'm not really doing engineering. I'm selecting from frameworks, libraries, templates, and themes. Mostly, you don't want to build something that complicated from scratch. Any sort of engineering should be you find a good theme that does 90% of what you want, and then maybe you tweak it a little bit for your particular needs, and that's your engineering. Software engineer web applications, same thing. Senior software engineer web applications, yep. For web and mobile, it's the same deal. You shouldn't, for the most cases, you don't want to be programming HTML5 just off the top of your head. At least I don't. Maybe if you're a widget sells, if you're making widgets for other people to use, you need to know that sort of stuff. If you're making a carousel, or if you're making a table, or if you're making a library such as Flot, F-L-O-T, that displays graphs or charts, makes them clickable and interactive, for instance, an interactive flow diagram of what's happening with your solar panel, well, you would want to do some work in Flot to do that. And that's a system and framework all of its own. It is sort of a web application, sort of software engineering job, I guess. Yeah, I would sort of do that sort of thing. I don't know Flot that well. Not at all, really. I know its capabilities. I've recommended it, but at SFDPW they don't really have a lot of need for complex charts. They can get by with something simpler, and they don't need the compatibility. And also at SFDPW they're really wary about diving into too many things, which is definitely you don't want to complicate the maintenance issue with by introducing too many libraries for them. They're kind of old school HTML guys there. I mean, when I first started, I was seeing regularly things that were HTML table layouts still. So, I've managed to introduce Kendo UI and Twitter Bootstrap as a responsive framework basis, and I'm pushing for like more templates and themes to like adopt one for their department. And use those components over and over again in mockups and stuff. That's all a pretty big step going up from HTML table layouts. So I'm happy with what I'm doing, but it's maybe not advanced enough to qualify as a senior web engineer or even a software engineer. Actually, I think it probably would be. I should maybe try for software engineer or senior software engineer. Software data architect, yeah, I kind of do some of that as a user experience design, mostly for like, telling you what menu names make sense. I know as a user experience designer, I think about, short-term memory. The average person can remember about 7 things in short-term memory at one time. And that has importance if you've got a drop-down menu with 9 items. There's ways around that. The mind does things where it discards things and doesn't remember them. So if you've got 9 items and half of them are clearly bad choices, maybe you're looking for a solar panel, and the others say things um, like water heater, right? It's easy to get through 42 choices with only 7 short-term memory slots available in the brain, because most of the options don't even take up a memory slot longer than it takes to just read it, understand it, say no, that's not the one. Put the next item in the list into my memory slot. So you do this recycling of your short-term memory. But if you have 7 good choices that are randomly scattered, say for instance they're looking for solar panels, and you've got choices like solar panel architecture, panel design, solar architecture, solar development. Well, if you're looking for solar panel prices and you're seeing all that, you're going to have more than 7 elements in a long list that you can't throw them out. You have to kind of judge all 7 at once and say what's the best fit. So I think about cognitive behavior, behavioral economics, game theory quite a bit in my job, and I don't see that specifically. I did see user experience designer somewhere, and that's kind of what I'm about. What is this? I don't know how I feel about this drop shadow here. I guess it highlights the difference. Why are we changing the menu to SolarCity Careers? Previously, it looked different. It looked different about it. So what's it look like here? SolarCity, find your fit, why solar company values. So why is it like this? Why is it not just SolarCity and then down here careers? Keep the same logo, keep the same layout. I don't know, just needless change. I'm a big fan of consistency. User experience designers should look for consistency. They should look for convergence, things that can be combined. 2 complicated things might seem very different, but maybe you can find a way to make them use the same thing. This is a beautiful picture. Financial, how solar works. I love the little triangle up here that points to the line above. This is really good design because it extends the color. That's what I like about it. Look, I bet this one will have a little bit of green in it, maybe. Oh, no, because we went to the store and we changed the bottom. That's a bummer. Yeah, you could put a full bleed photo as a background top like I do. I'm doing that for like this. So this is like what I'm working on right now for San Francisco Department of Public Works. It's the contract cost database. Normally I wouldn't design an application to be this fancy, slick, and Hollywood looking. We've got the drop shadows here, and the outer glow, and the full bleed panorama photo, which is nice. It looks great. Just generally, applications you don't want to look that fancy because you don't want people to think you spent all your money building a banner when you want them to think that you're like barely scraping by and all you could put together was, a form, but it works and that's the point. So generally, I wouldn't design something this fancy, but for you guys, maybe it might work. For government, well, my boss said that's what he wanted, so that's what I did. It was my first choice, but when my boss says he wants something more exciting, I trust his judgment. He's more in touch with the decision-making stakeholders who would approve the project or not, and if he thinks a full bleed photo or more excitement or some animation even, yeah, he did ask for that. If he thinks some animation is the way to go, then I can take that direction. I take direction or I give direction, at least in terms of user experience. Either way, as long as it's good direction. I don't like taking bad direction. And by bad I mean, poorly constructed, be it's broke, fix it type direction is not so handy. The interview or survey these people and make it work better might work if I have some resources, like, you know, you can go do some user testing, or here's some people who complained, or here's a list of complaints, or just take a look at it and see what bothers you. You know, give me some constraints, I'm pretty good. Free solar quote. Speak to an energy consultant. It's a little confusing. It's a free solar quote. I expect an online form, but then it says speak to an energy consultant. Do I get a real voice here, or do I get a person? Your request cannot be completed as the account you're attempting to reach is no longer active. Booyah! Failure. User experience failure. Okay, so let me try that again. Nope. Okay, that's just disappointing. So I can stop here. My goal in this video screencast, this recording of what I've done, is basically to introduce myself, mention that I am a user experience designer. I would like to make the user experience of people using your websites better. I think about things like this. I found this. We'll call this an obvious failure somehow. We should not show this if you've got no one to speak with. What is it? It's 11:38 a.m. It's not like an unusual time. There should be somebody there, especially if you promised me something there. You're damaging your credibility with this. Well, what about this? And I can't click on this. I can click on this. Probably the whole box should be clickable. Since it looks like one big graphic, I thought it was a big graphic. Learn more. Will this play a video? Sort of, but it plays it in a mode of dialogue. I wish it would have just played it in place so I could scroll
and have
down.
it be a fraction of what it used to be? It may seem impossible, especially
It's
since the
YouTube.
cost
That's
of
kinda
electricity
clever.
keeps going up. In fact, utility rates increase about 5% every year. So what can you do about it? Ever consider solar? Today, getting started is easier than ever. In fact, you can get solar power without even having to pay for the solar panels. Now, you can even get it installed for free. Make the switch to better energy with SolarCity. With SolarCity, you simply pay for your solar power by the month, just like your utility bill, only lower. And your low solar price is locked in, so you keep saving money month after month and year after year, even as utility rates keep going up. The concept is simple. Save money on your utility bills and power your home with clean energy. You have several different ways you can pay for your electricity from SolarCity: solar lease and a solar power purchase agreement, or PPA. How do you decide which one is right for you? Both are great options. With solar lease, you pay by the month for the equipment. With solar PPA, you pay by the kilowatt hour for the power. With either a lease or a PPA, you also have several flexible payment options. You can go solar for $0 down and pay as you go. Pay a little to lock in a lower rate, or pay more to lock in the lowest rate available. Regardless of the plan, you'll have solar power for far
Oops,
less
got a
than you
phone call.
currently
Need to
pay.
pause. And I need
All
to
the
check
energy
charge my
plans come
battery.
with full
I guess this
support,
ends my
including a
introduction.
monitoring service,
This is
repairs,
good, by the
and
way.
a money-back
This is very
performance
convincing.
guarantee.
I like what the
SolarCity
video is
makes the
saying about
transition to
paying.
better
That's kind
energy
of one of my
smoother than
questions.
you ever thought possible.